just solid songwriting, and in particular, like Elton John and the stuff that he was putting out in like the '70s and whatnot. And I'm kind of a '70s guy, and I think whereas I appreciate tons of music since the '70s, there seems to be a decline in a formulaic thing that just sounds kind of Hallmark, postcardy, and it's just not as fulfilling anymore. I'm sorry to say, but there's a lot of great compositions out there and great artists. I'm not just, I don't want to blanket everything that sucks. Everything after 1985 sucks or something like that. No, not at all. It's just, there seems to be a lack of this. Maybe it was because it was rock and roll was still so much newer that it was like so much more of a. It wasn't taken for granted like it is now. So. And I think when you start taking things for granted and you realize, oh shit, the audience is still going to like this, even if it's just 2 chords, which is fine. There's plenty of great 2-chord songs, 3-chord songs out there, Bob Marley, stuff like that. But it gets to a point where a lot of the stuff really sounds like the same. It's just like, wow, there's no real technical awesomeness to it. I think they stopped doing guitar solos after 1992. Or actually right before, when Nirvana came out. By the way, Kurt Cobain was born 4 hours after me in 1967. Today, he would have been 50 years old. He got the fame and the fortune. I got the obscurity, but I'm still alive. But yeah, I like a lot of technical prowess, but I also like top-notch, songwriting. Beginning, middle, end, tells a story, or maybe it doesn't tell a story, but the lyrics are at least captivating. I'm working on one called it used to be called the Haylaw Song. I think it's still called the Haylaw Song because I haven't found a better alternative title for it, but it's pretty good. It's about death, it's about loss, and it's about understanding where you're at in life, having a sense of propriety. So in Los Angeles, I would be probably playing with a band, doing probably mostly my material, and probably a lot, all over. It would be constantly driving all over, and still not that great paying, but I would be constantly moving and be constantly within reach of great musicians all the time that want to play, really solid compositions. There's a hunger, they go down to Los Angeles area. This is a big, huge area. And they go down there because they're serious about their craft, their bass guitar, their keyboards, or their singing or songwriting, whatnot, and they want to do something. And so their social life is their family, but at the same time it's also music, and you're constantly gigging. Here, there's no constantly gigging. I can do pretty fingerstyle acoustic gigs at like mellow restaurants and things like that, but it doesn't flip my wig. I could be doing tons of covers and my own stylistic, Bee Gees covers, how deep is your love, and stuff like that, and doing some nice fine guitar playing behind it. But it's so unfulfilling to do covers anymore. I fucking hate it. It's not working. And to do original stuff, you can't, unless you're doing Hawaiian-based stuff, you're not really going to get any sort of hotel gigs. I totally get that. I understand that. And I appreciate that. This is Hawaii. I didn't come here because I thought that I would be some sort of standout dude as far as, getting constant gigs. I just kind of came here because I was 48 at the time. And, I was just like, hey, man, I've been wanting to do this for decades. We can do it now financially and be cool about everything. And coming here, it has been a disappointment because there's very few skilled musicians. And even when they are skilled, it doesn't mean that everybody is going to totally dig my style of music. I totally understand that, too. Shit. I mean, I can understand why some people would be like, they can listen to the nice guitar playing and nice vocal stuff, but only for a little while. I get that too. I get bored. And some musicians just don't want to play that stuff out if they know that there's no money in it, and I totally understand that. So if you're a Big Island musician and you decided to not play with me, I totally understand all of your reasons, because I wouldn't play with me either for many reasons, okay?
Do you?
Like on this side of the island, okay, in Hilo, you have like a couple of places, but they like the Hilo Town Tavern is a great place. But honestly, even when they do their open mic, it's not like this. In pockets of LA and in Portland and Boston and a number of cities, there are these open mics where it's really serious. I mean, you're getting top-notch musicians that are already known coming in watching, these hot fucking cats and catesses play, and watching for possible new up-and-comers. And I experienced the best of the best musicians at the open mics over there. And everybody's like paying real fucking close attention, And if you weren't the greatest guitar player, you made up for it because there was something about you, You could have had kind of these weird offbeat songs, but they were looking for that next fucking great thing. At all these open mics in Austin and stuff like that, all these places that I've been fortunate enough to check out in major cities. And come here, and there's none of that. There's really unpolished. A lot of musicians are really unpolished. They haven't practiced. And I understand why there's no real motivation. There's no real motivation to be like extremely unique sounding on this island. You can kind of fit in and do kind of your folky or hippie stuff or your Hawaiian slack key stuff and not really have any sort of crazy new musicality identity to you. Over on the mainland, it seemed like people were really trying to find, or if not find their own identity, showcase their identity, their uniqueness to people. I don't find that here, and that's fine. I didn't move here because it's a hotspot music scene. I actually thought that I would wind up playing bass and probably doing vocals, doing Hawaiian stuff, and and trying my best to try to pronounce Hawaiian words in the background and be a background vocalist, whatever, and that actually has not looked at all appealing. And when I look at Craigslist for, we're looking for a bass player, blah blah blah. Oh, great, blah blah. Everybody I meet is always great. It's fucking Hawaii. Everybody's great, but it's just like, God, I don't want to do bars and stuff, and I don't want to drive over to Kona so I can do a 2-hour gig and maybe make $50 or something like that, So it's just not worth my while. And
have you connected with?
Oh, totally. There's like easily a dozen plus musicians that I totally gel with very easily on this island. But it's like, just gelling is not enough, though. It's like, again, it comes down, oh my gosh, and there's the whole, let's see, 20 miles here equals 40 miles on the mainland, okay? And it's just like, oh my God, you're up in Pepakeo? And it's just like, well, I have the money. I suppose I could probably just rent a studio in town, but there would never be enough to really make a go of renting a studio downtown, because when you rent a studio, it's like those are 4 or 5 hour a day sessions or something like that. So you can feel good about the place that you're renting. But here, if I was to rent a place to practice so everybody could be centrally located, it wouldn't be worth my while, because nobody wants to practice any more than like maybe once a week here. So honestly, it's just like unless they already know that they've got something like a Hawaiian gig. You got guys like Lito Archangel. He's got his gig down. He was doing the singer-songwriter stuff. It wasn't working for him, because then he switched over to ukulele, and he went straight back to, no, I'm going to do more roots stuff, and I'm going to do my version of roots, Hawaiian roots material. Totally works for him. Now he's making bank, just doing the hotel circuit and stuff like that. Kick ass. More power to you, dude. I practiced so many effing hours throughout my younger years that anymore, I don't practice hardly anymore, actually. I got to a point where it's just like, it's so, I mean, seriously, I'll be doing stuff, I don't ever even look at the neck anymore. Everything's just robotic for me. Any instrument I pick up anymore, it's just like, It's just but it's all second nature. So much so anymore that I don't even practice anymore. I should. That's terrible. You should practice your instruments, stuff like that. I don't know. It's just you get to a point where it's just like, well, I'm pretty good at what I do. I feel good at what I do, and I don't feel the need to get any better anymore. I just kind of do maintenance skills is all I do.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I love Justin Timberlake because I think the pop songwriting is fucking flawless, and his vocal delivery is flawless. And I know the recording process, and I know that he's doing it line by line to get that right. The syncopation's right, and I know that they're tricking out the words to make sure that it hits right at the snare beat and stuff like that. And it's all on the screen now, you know. I get that, but he's really delivering really solid, crafty pop material, and so I gotta hand it to him and his writers and things like that. But I've recently been in this total. It's not contemporary whatsoever. It was in the '60s. The Monkees. There's so many great songs written by the great writers that wrote for them, as well as a number of songs I was like, oh my God. When they were writing songs on their own, I had no idea how many great songs they wrote on their own. Their freaking catalog is so amazing. Oh my God, Michael Nesmith, I was just like, I had no idea what a great crafty songsmith he was up until about 2 months ago when I was really paying attention to the Monkees' greatest hits. And then it wasn't enough. There was actually more than just the greatest hits. There was the whole thing. Everybody should just listen to the whole thing. Seriously, it's just like, oh my God, they were so intelligent. And yet they were totally poo-pooed upon, of course, because they were a throw together. And and lo and behold, they tried to do something on their own, and lo and behold, they were great at what they were doing. But because they were a throw together at first, then it was like, oh, you guys aren't real. And I was like, no, they became real. You know, they were the puppet that became the real boy. But no, and even Jimi Hendrix was putting him down. I was like, who likes the Monkees? Come on, seriously, you know.
But then he opened for them.
He opened for them, yeah. He was talking trash about it. He was like, oh man.
Okay, last question.
Don't move to the Big Island. Unless you're doing like some sort of wannabe stuff or whatnot. I'm just being realistic, and I'm very blunt with musicians. For one thing, to make a solid living in music requires so much more than just chops and your practice and knowledge of your instrument or instruments that you play. It is so much about networking and making your own odds and. So, practice your instrument, please try to be different and unique in whatever instrument you're playing and how your songwriting is, please. But beyond that, understand now that it's a radically different world than in the 80s and 90s when I was really trying to make a more of a solid go of it. Heck, even in the late 90s, there was that shift. Once Google started taking off, and then in 2006 when YouTube became preeminent, there was a real huge shift to online and online marketing, putting the burden, the onus on the songwriter. We're not all fucking business people whatsoever. We're artists and musicians.
Right.
Most people that are artists and musicians don't have that right side, left side brain that is not into the acumen of shaking hands, networking, and keeping up your Facebook site and stuff like that. Facebook was a disaster for a musician like me, for example, because I couldn't keep my mouth shut about like a lot of people, like they have their Facebook sites up and it's all superfluous, blah, blah, blah. And the worst thing a musician can do is have their own personal Facebook site and talk about anything more than just the weather and the next gig that they're doing. Don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, and thumbs up everything that goes your way. And that's kind of phony too. And I really kind of loathe how the internet has forced musicians to kind of conform in a lot of ways. As far as, it's like you come across with a punk rock or in-your-face attitude, you probably won't get friended on Facebook, and this is the age of social media, and you are judged on social media. And if you don't have a lot of likes or friends on Facebook, oh my God, you must not be that good. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I've heard so many musicians that are so great, and they can't put together a good website. They don't know how to interact on Facebook. They don't have a Facebook or whatever. There's, but if you want to do music, I mean, seriously, just know what music is working in your area. If you want to be professional at it, and constantly gigging, the island chain might not be your best bet. You might want to try the mainland, but there's been a few people that have made it out of here. He didn't quite make it out of here, and some other guy that just recently did the Somewhere Over the Rainbow or something. I Lava You, yeah. I guess he got a Grammy, and Grammys are kind of funny too, because there's this cat that was over in Vancouver, really solid fingerstyle guitar player too, and his niche was instrumental Christian guitar, and he got a Grammy in it. Instrumental Christian guitar. I mean, is this satanic? I mean, it's just like, come on, instrumental Christian guitar. If there's no lyrics to it, what the? Okay, anyway, I'm off my soapbox on that.